I just wanted to give a brief overview of my Marineland tide pool sump. I haven't really seen any videos posted on YouTube about it. It came with my tank I bought used on Facebook. $100 for a 75-gallon Marineland corner overflow with a tank, a stand, canopy, the sump, a Rio 1600 I believe it is, water pump, couple of heaters, air pump, a few other miscellaneous things. So like I said, I just wanted to give kind of a brief overview of what I did to resurrect it and just show you how impressed I am with the performance of it. One of the stipulations that my wife put on me when putting this tank together was to do it as inexpensively as possible, so that's why I decided to reuse the Marineland tide pool sump. So let me flip the camera around, open up the cabinet, and give you guys a little tour. Oh. Here we have it under here. Like I said, it is an antique, but it works amazingly well. Let me move that out of the way. Now this is, I'm assuming this thing's about 20 gallons, if I'm not mistaken. I think it holds about 15 when it's active and running. It originally, if you'll see the notch there, it originally had a bio wheel in it. The bio wheel was rotten, and I tried rebuilding it, but I was unsuccessful at getting it to get it to spin correctly. So I just decided to bypass that. And so let me show you what I got going on in here. Take my cover off. I keep a cover on it, and it's really helped cut down on how much water I'm losing to evaporation. Get that out of the way. You can see down in there I keep a bunch of spare media. I've got 7.5 pounds of lava rock, which you can see here. Let me slide my trays out. I use polyfill in the top. Let me pull this tray out. And then in the bottom, three trays, I am using, believe it or not, this is floor buffer pad. Let me get it in the sunlight so you can see it. Works amazingly well for harboring good bacteria. You can see the water flow coming down on top of it. It's powered by just a real simple, it's getting time to replace the polyfill. I have to change it every few days, which is no big problem. But I run two 150 watt heaters in it. I also run, like I said earlier, a Rio, I think it's 1600 water pump to get the water back up to the tank. There's my plumbing, nothing super fancy. Did it all with stuff from Home Depot. I'm really amazed at the ease of use of this sump. Honestly, I just changed the polyfill once or twice a week, and maybe once a month I rinse out the filter pads. I keep bio balls. I've got, what else have I got in here? We got a bag of bio balls in there. I've got a bag of ceramic media in there. I keep a bag of carbon in there. And as you can see, the lava rock, I keep a few pieces of let me pull a piece out and show you guys what it is. But this is what I use in the trays. This is white floor buffer pad. It does an amazing job at harboring the good bacteria. It's made out of nylon, so it's completely inert. Stick that back in there. It helps with splashing around. I just honestly, this is the first sump that I've ever owned, and I honestly I cannot be happier with the performance of it. I've got a little bit of bias towards Marineland. I use their products a good bit. I use a Marineland Emperor 400 on my 45-gallon tank. But if any of you people see this sump, from what I've seen, a couple of them on eBay, they go for next to nothing. And honestly, the performance of it's just amazing. So, you know, I've got 3 trays with the floor buffer pad, 1 tray with the polyfill, 7.5 pounds of lava rock, a pound of ceramic rings, a bag of the bio balls. I've got a pound of carbon in it. I know some of you folks don't like carbon, but I've been using it for 20 years and I've seen no reason to stop. I take it out if I run any kind of medication, but I don't medicate this tank because it's so big. I've got a 20-gallon long that I use for a hospital/quarantine tank. And so there's generally nothing put in the water that the carbon is going to take out other than bad stuff. So like I said, if any of you guys see this sump, I highly recommend it. You know, I would like to have the bio wheel functional. It's not, but I think 7.5 pounds of lava rock will do the job. I know there's a horrible glare, and I just thought I'd show you some of the little fishies in it. It's a live bear tank for the most part. I've got mollies, platies, swordtails, got that big fat gourami there. I've got a common placo in there that unfortunately one day, as well as most of you know, I'm going to have to rehome it when it becomes a monster. But my tank stays absolutely clear. Let me go around to this side. This is long ways through the tank. As you can see, the water is pretty dang clear. You know, I can't be happier. I couldn't be happier with this tank. I've got about $400 in it total. Like I said, I paid $100 for the tank, and then by the time I bought the substrate and the floor buffer pads for the filter media and the lava rock, and I went ahead and replaced the heaters just because I'm paranoid. I bought a light kit for it. Let me crack the top. I'm using Beamsworks 1 watt LEDs. I've got this new one here, and then this is my old one that I'm running until I get another one. As you can see, it's nearing the end of its life, but it was on a tank for a while that had no top on it, so it kind of got exposed to the elements. I'm using clear roofing panels for the top to keep the splashing down. But there's my pothos, or money plant, growing out of it. But when I bought the tank, the seals were in good condition, but I just felt like it was too big of a risk of having 75 gallons of water in the floor. So I decided to go ahead and strip all the old silicone out of it. I stripped the corner overflow out of it, and I re-siliconed everything. Let it cure for like 5 days, and then I let it sit on my back porch for another 3 or 4 days just to make certain I didn't have any leaks, which thank goodness I didn't. But there again, this sump, it's a Marineland tidepool. I'm not sure if it's a tidepool 1 or 2. Maybe one of you guys can answer that question for me. But if anybody comes across this sump for a good deal, I highly recommend it. So you guys have a good day, and like I said, I just kind of wanted to give a brief overview of this Marineland tidepool because there's very little information out there about it.